Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Grace Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we saw the adventure of the unbreakable speckled band. Turned out to be her who killed Kazuma on accident, but it is what it is. And like the whole crew were in on it too. And now, we're gonna fulfill Kazuha's legacy by becoming a lawyer in Great Britain. So hopefully, you'll see what episode 3 has in store for us. The Adventure, episode 3, The Adventure of the Runaway Room.
記録を読み返すと、あれは19世紀の終わり、厳しい冬のことだった。事件は霧深い深夜のロンドンの街路をひた走る乗り合い馬車の中で起こった。馬車には被害者と容疑者の両名のみ、複数の人間がその事件を目撃した。一体誰が想像しただろうか。この単純極まりない事件があのような恐ろしい結末を迎えることになろうとは。
Horrendous matter.
我が友シャーロック・ホームズはあの事件を振り返ってこう言った。思えばあの事件こそは序曲だったのかもしれないね。忘れがたきあの日本人留学生と演じた長い競争曲の始まりだ。
Very interesting. But we'll see where it goes from there. Ooh, animal cutscene. Looks like we get out of the train.
すごい。
I mean, yeah.
これって本当に駅なのでしょうか。
駅にせよ違うにせよ、これほどの建造物は見たことがございませんね。
蒸気機関車があんなにたくさん。
Damn.
何なんだこの国は。
So this is London.
Nandaka, 夢みたいです。
これが大英帝国の帝都。
どう？あんたたち。
はい。
乗りなよ。どこへだって連れて行ってやるぜ。
それでは官庁街の高等法院へお願いします。
いいとも。あんたたち最近流行りの留学生ってやつかい？
ええ。
そうかい。それなら楽しんでいってくれよな。ようこそ世界の中心、大英帝国の帝都ロンドンへ。
We're actually in London, huh? So, how much of our training paid off? In fact, huh? What an interesting room. 18th of February, 9:21 a.m. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice Office. Whoa. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they only been built a few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? Far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar, but I think there's more to the differences than just the construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice Office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time. If circumstances were different, we were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No, So instead, we are in here in a different capacity, as envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. Having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So, we have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as law student, selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need to requisite qualifications as a lawyer, which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain is the Lord Chief Justice to appoint lawyers, so that's the second reason why we're here, to be officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. Oh, good morning. Sorry to keeping you. What the? Oh, damn. This guy's pretty big. I trust you aren't exhausted of your long voyage from Japan. It seems in 1 hour, 12 minutes and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. How unfortunate. So introductions, I am Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. And I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Naruhodo-san. Don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London, the capital of the glorious British Empire. Yes, thank you. Let's examine the place first. Gotta look around. Just look at all the naughty books packed together on these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. And they're all books you can hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream. Yes, a very bad dream. They're not all about British law either. There are books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland. What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about the asking your Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Yeah, don't bring up the case again. We don't want to remember Kazuma's death. How he broke his neck because of a cat. And she pushed him. We're not gonna... yeah. I felt like that itself, he died. That's a terrible way to die. If he was like killed in a cruel way, it would have been much more sense, but he died in a terrible way. Look at all these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room. I believe they're suits of armor. Oh, right. Thought maybe they're like lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates. No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, the suits of armor are always possessed by evil spirits, you know. They can roam around in the middle of the night. Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Miss Susato? This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where did she get the incredible tome? Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. Inside those gears are larger than anything you find on a steam locomotive even. It's eerie. Don't you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? The Lord Chief Justice, I mean. Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they? I'm not sure you could fit with cogs that size. And I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make, considering how large they are. They're actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. This must be Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble. It looks more like an over-the-top tombstone topped over to me. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo. It feels like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. I know. That's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure. That's one way to introduce London. At least. Alright, I guess we talk to him. London. So, what are your impressions of the capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, help? I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some of the London streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad you like it. The city boasts tramways, pipe waters, and gas. Even cables supply electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh, yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes, there's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we'll be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are exhibited here in our great city. It'll be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history. It will make the Paris World Fair look like a toy shop. Jesus. My eye! I got stung in the eye! Ah! I don't know why I got stung in the eye. There's no bug near me. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's gonna be. Sorry about that, guys. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that is in these aggressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Law student. Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news? Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are a people of protocol and courtesy. I see that it's true. It is some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo. This is it then. The moment of truth. Continuing the study tour. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me, Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country. There's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there someone I don't know? Something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Asogi, at least. That is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there's someone else here from Japan who could be described, it's... We could be funny! Fuck! must resist the urge to say funny answers. Jared, should I should I go for the funny answers or no? Fuck it. All right, I'm saving right now. I'm saving right now. I have the urge to say funny answers right now because of Yakuza. Actually, there's no one. It's only been 40 days since Kazuma died, and yes, I've studied as hard as I possibly could. But can I really stand before this terrifying man and claim that I can do the job? Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. Of course, only one lawyer. Susato looks at me with a death stare, but I'm not sure if I can stand before this terrifying woman and claim that I can't. I'll end up upside down on the floor if I do that. Not that I'm scared of Susato takedown, obviously, but still, perhaps I should change my answer. It's me. I can do. Aww. Oh well. Wait. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Let me load the save again. And see from her answer. It's Miss Susato. It can probably only be yes, Miss Susato. An unusual introduction. I presume you mean this charming lady beside you. You're a lawyer, are you? That look she's giving me. After all the days of hard work she put in to help me study, I can't let her down now. I think it's quite enough joking, don't you, Lord Strongheart? The real answer is, it's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say, yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before, only once as it happens. And I had Kazuma to help me, and I was the one accused, by glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey to Kyoto, Great Britain studying. Learned all about the British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Buria. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe, not what I call full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of a time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Mr. Hogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on the study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test he's scared to set me. Just one chance, that's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo, it was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. Perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in a good stead as a lawyer. Oh, thanks. So you were willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? Well, let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes? You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I will give you the one chance. A test to become a specifically certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? Test? What's this test? So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naro, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. An app trial is about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. Wait! Don't we have to do an investigation? What could be simpler? How do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongarm? Yes, good question. I remember. It's a murder trial. What? Another murder? Murder? An extremely simple case. I understand you really can't lose. You're saying a murder case is very simple. Very well then. That's easy to say, but I should mention, just in case, if the wait, hold up. But I should mention, just in case, my bad. If the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murders are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably you read that much in your short seed-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We'd be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So, the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you come to be claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see this through to the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would understand how far you are willing to go in order to make that happen. It's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer for you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? I'll do it. Alright then. If I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it! I can't get the words out! Aw, come on! 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. Is as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and inquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongarm. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry, Mr. Sato, but what could I do? It's alright. I understand. You do? It's not easy to choose a way to defend a man in these circumstances, but resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Mr. Sato means is that no matter how badly I like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivial would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. Sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Well, what do we do now? Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that... I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent it. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. You will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful. that is the truth.
Why does it have to be like this?
Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold hard truth of the matter is that there's only one person now with a chance to save this man from a miserable end. And that is you.
I'm really his only hope?
Who's our client though? So, what do you say now, madam?
Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose leader to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it's purely simply a matter of resolve.
Oh.
Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture to our great city and enjoy yourselves.
Well, he's gone. The Old Bailey. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. What to do? Mr. Sato, can I just ask you something? Careful, from this position, I could perform a Susato takedown in an instant. I know? Mr. Naruhodo, you're Lord Strongheart. The trial starts imminently. If I need to throw you, I will. You know? You could just say, I think we should hurry up to the courtroom. If you need to ask me anything, better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Alright, fine, let's move. Go, 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 let's go! The Old Bailey. (18th of February, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Oh, thank goodness we're in time. We're still 15 minutes until the trial begins. Never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed the board? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories. It worked quite perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. Court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. Even in this room for defendants to wait in is grand. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air. Almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. What are you Yoush doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, aren't they? I'm gonna give her that, give him that voice. Sorry? When you look at these expressionless faces from the east, aren't you? We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan, is it right? Say no more. So, how much do you need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat. Barely a penny to your name. It's all white, wow, in a strange faraway land. I can't believe I'm giving him this voice. Actually, you haven't found a place to stay yet, no. This grand. Let me start by giving you the house of 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. 1,000 guineas? Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion from the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? does nothing to me at all. I like to ensure that I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Ugh, that hit me in the eye. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you, no strings attached. I want you to be doing something for me. Oh? To be honest, just a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here, helping the doc. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have asked, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Blustering blazes, do yous? Do yous not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names? No, sorry, we've only just arrived here in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there in the center of London is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? It's called McGilded Park. Full of blossoming flowers in the spring, singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, so I did. An entire park in central London? A city of smiles, that's my vision for the London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and square of old people. That's amazing, I mean, really extraordinary. But now they've got the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal, me, Magnus McGilded? What is the matter with the London police, I ask ya? Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo, perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you happy to put yourself in your hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying, you daft Egypt? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering just to stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry. I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor Bufella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why is the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer of all of England? But he did it, that's the only explanation. Well? Not at all. Not at all, although it is a little strange to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean? That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did he just say Reaper? What? Who is this Reaper person? Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barak von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. Barak von Zeeks? It's like Von Karma, but von Zeeks. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When Von Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused as sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it's really the desperate situation, where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You can say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barak von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Curse? What on earth? The defendant is Silman and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin.
It's counsel, that would be me.
Oh, this time? Well then, fella, don't let me down.
But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened.
Until you showed your face here, I had made up me mind, so I had.
Sorry?
I decided I had to defend myself in there.
How would that have worked?
But then you made an appearance as a student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please.
Well, I literally know nothing about the case or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo, the man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would have never allowed to happen. Counsel to the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. Be right there. Well, let's get started, shall we? It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma, because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Alright. 18th of February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. This is an interesting courtroom. So this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court of Japan. Feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh yes, what? Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I mean, this is what that's how he stands in the trial. I know, but I just can't help it. What the? In the name of Their Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGill. I now call upon the counsels of the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is fully prepared.
That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. You speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course, sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready, and I couldn't be further from ready if I tried.
Those eyes please me, Nipponese. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
A cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGolded.
Yes, my lord.
You stand accused of murder. A capital offense can be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner?
As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to young. Even if a fella is a student from some little island off in the far east, it's not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance. I'd like to think that acts of chivalry to the great British Empire proud.
Listen to Mr. Misgilded. What a fine gentleman London has in him. Here he has stolen 5,000 pounds to the government the other day. Matter, please we go playing in McGilded Park? Seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news. He certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, and the most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been sentenced for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, my lord. My house sent riders to the gallows ready belong. I'm more than ready.
What the matter? His lordship always says we should dispose of the rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. I've never seen this, so this is new. There are jurors, and there's 6 of them.
Ha! Any criminal who'll be wishing to, they never set their eyes on me.
I throw a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson.
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, those people are the jury. Yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right. I've only ever read about. You know what's funny? In the Phoenix Wright games, we never had a jury, which is pretty weird. I'm like, how? If this is back then, why didn't we have a jury in the Phoenix Wright games? Perhaps maybe Capcom didn't made it up until this game, probably? Or the justice system sucks in Japan because, well, the justice system really sucks in Japan. Here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. Judges pass a sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on the common sense. So defendants are ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I think it's by vote, isn't it? I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. Yes.
Now, Prosecutor Von Zeeks.
My lord.
It has been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you renounced your fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity.
So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance which the court should be aware?
He looks very cool, I gotta say.
I leave that to your imagination, my lord.
So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years? Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. The summary of the case, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity.
We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware.
The incident took place in the late evening. 3 days had passed. The hour was some minutes later, after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known as in the community as Thrice Fired Mason.
Sorry, Thrice?
He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time.
Wait, hold up. Wait.
The victim's corpse was discovered in the omnibus in service on the streets of London at the time.
I'm really messing up the lines. I'm very sorry, guys. It's just it's hard to tell who's talking. I never pay attention to this part right here.
Dagger that has been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here in this autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at the Scotland Yard.
Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that. in the photograph as evidence.
The autopsy report has been entered into the courtroom. Gives the cause of death as internal hemorrhaging as a result of a single stab to the wound to the abdomen. Crime scene photograph has been entered into the courtroom. Photograph the the knife in his abdomen is clearly visible, but his face is partly obscured from a view by an old crook hat.
And one further item of evidence.
Let me see here. Oh wait, we can still examine. These are the scales of justice. They're a symbol of the defense, aren't they? Yes, that's right. The scales are a symbol of fairness to show that all are treated equally in the eyes of the law. They're a warning to those who enter the courtroom without partial mind. But if they're the mark of the defense, it would be more auspicious if they were weighing more heavily on not guilty side, I think. Very impartial, I'm sure. A lawyer's name is embroidered on the inside here, look. Kazuma Asogi. This was his band, of course. He had his heart set on the study tour in Great Britain. I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here, but he lost his life before he even had the chance to see the place. I have such strong sense for his hopes and dreams when I look at this armband, though. He's thrice-fired mason. He's 54. He's a brickmaker. Cause of death, of course, he was stabbed. Died around the time 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. So this is the way he died. Interesting. Where's his fingerprints on the blade? That's what we want to find out. So if the defendant is Mr. McGilded, maybe it points to him because his fingers are on that blade, probably. Alright, people. Blah blah blah. Male Strongarm. Magnus McGilded. Baron von Zeeks. Thrice-fired Mason.
The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
And these are... Good lord! Is that blood counsel?
Yes, my lord, seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene.
I dropped my my Switch controller. Ignore that, I'll pick it up later.
These are gore silk gloves. They were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested.
What? Mr. McGilded's gloves had blood on them?
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
Leather gloves the defendant was wearing at the time of the incident. There's blood stain on the right glove. Let's check the court record. How can I get myself? How did I get into this? Alright, let's explore. You gotta explore every single piece of evidence that you can. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with our first day in London. Well, nothing will come of grumbling now. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Ha, pity. If only he had been left-handed. Thick blood on either glove would have been fairly incriminating, really. Is there anything else? I feel like there could be more. So we can automatically assume that how like the person was stabbed. So you say it was used his right hand. Yeah. Or okay, it makes sense that there would be blood on that part. Okay. All right. How'd I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I've even started.
Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside the vehicle at the time.
Only 2?
Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Well, rather damning circumstances to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. Whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness. I always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
Just the motion of the carriage, my lord, lilting so it is when I open my eyes again. 'Twas a desperate sight before me, the body of a man I never laid my eyes on before in me life. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to the help of fellow bleeding from his stomach?
The question is, do you have connection to the victim?
I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand.
So the blood gone to the gloves and after the man had been killed.
Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning.
What? That's not all of it?
There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed.
Let us see these witnesses then. They should be testifying. Order! 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 Well, this is another way to say order. I gotta use a really old man voice.
When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the head of the coffin for the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime being made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses first of all.
Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once.
1, 2, 3. So we got 3 witnesses.
Witnesses, your names and occupations.
My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus to the East End.
Bruce Fairplay, I'm a banker in the city.
My name's First, Lady First. I am make hands for gents.
Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir.
Very well then, let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. I'm hoping I gave the right old man voice. Witness what the witnesses saw. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had few customers. I remember it well.
The victim and the man accused killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. And out of the blue, their curse just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
I'm trying to figure out a voice for each character. It's very hard. I can see why Johnny Awesome and other people have a hard time figuring out what voices belong to each character.
That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed. I did. I couldn't help it.
As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus and then I saw it too. Ambiguous testimony, I must say.
Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes.
I'd like to ask a question if I may. Yes, counsel. Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, The incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
It has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
In that case, how could those two witnesses probably have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage. Why is everyone silent all of a sudden?
How quaint. I read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations are a good century behind our own. But you're in here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant of our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omni?
Okay, this guy's being racist right now. He called me Nipponese. My feelings are already hurt. Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning.
No matter. I've arranged for us to all see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is.
What do you mean, the actual scene? How?
A carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much.
Yes?
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is in here today.
Wait, you actually brought the omnibus here? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
What the? It's really here. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside of a closed cabin, and 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city architecture sites are to be had from the top of the omnibus. And I should point out for our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof allowing a view of the interior from the seats above.
Wait a second, you're telling me that some of the witnesses were above or something like that? A skylight? Oh.
A penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight.
That makes perfect sense.
Whoa, counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom.
There are a number of important clues remain inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence.
That is the prosecution's wish. We're actually gonna put the whole omnibus as evidence.
Very well, I see no reason why not. The omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
The omnibus is entered into the courtroom. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Jesus. Okay. We're gonna have to explore this. You could certainly see the inside of the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in a closed cabin, so I'm sure the witnesses could have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of the London streets from up here. So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them? They have to pay money to do so? Yeah, I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price we pay to stay out late. I thought there's more.
Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? The scene of a murder. It's horrible. Well, the blood is here. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's, obviously. And yes, that seat would clearly be visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab someone in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Ah, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition, due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view in the cabin from the roof deck. And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. Suppose it can't be opened from the inside of the cabin, at least. Have we seen enough? Let's step back outside then. Maybe there's something inside. I don't know if I missed anything. Ah, that's a poster for the... Okay. What's under here? You see there's a handle, it seems. It's under here. This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep these things, it seems. There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to store their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. Wait, is there a drawer on the other side? No drawer. Interesting. There is no other drawer? Yeah, that's very interesting. Alright, what else can we really find? Phoenix Wright Omnibus? Fucking Capcom, you did this on purpose, didn't you? Phoenix Wright Omnibus. Alright, I think we got enough evidence. No, I think we observed enough. I don't see anything that really stands out. Alright, we're gonna save the game, so next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we're gonna continue on this trial. And hopefully, I think we should get a witness, like a cross-examination at least, so I'll see you guys all next time.